It's that time. It's time to talk about our girl, Foodie Beauty. Well, there was quite the confusion yesterday with Foodie. People had said that they had seen an ambulance go to her building. And they said that some people had said they had heard a call and it was for a 42-year-old woman. So everybody's freaking out, wanting to know, where's Foodie? What's wrong? Did she go to the hospital? Did she ride an ambulance? Blah, 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 blah. So over on Kick, where she does spends the majority of her time, apparently, like Teardrop, Nina, her mods, the people she talks to on a regular basis, were trying to get a hold of her. And apparently, Teardrop posted in the Kick chat that Foodie had went to the ER to get her boil taken care of. Because, she has this boil she's been complaining about for quite some time. This dates back to way back when she went to Thailand with Salah. Is about when this whole boil situation started. So she comes on later and she says, I'm back. That's the name of the stream. I'm back. And it turns out, no, she did not go to the hospital or to the ER to have this boil looked at. No. She claimed she was going to go to bed early last night and she was going to go today to have it looked at the urgent care. I guess in Canada, their urgent care is different than us. You go to the hospital, to the ER, they triage you, and then they decide if it's something you need to be seen in the ER for or the urgent care. The urgent care is actually in the hospital, according to her. So she basically lied and told Teardrop that, she was in the hospital. She's going to be like the boy who cried wolf. She keeps playing around with her health, and eventually something's going to happen, and nobody's going to believe her. But, she openly admits that she lies. She says everybody lies. So, I guess she's using ChatGPT as her doctor. She claims she explained everything about this boil to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is telling her that they think it is some kind of a cyst. She used some word, I don't know. I'm not even going to try to remember or try to even pronounce it if I wrote it down. Some kind of a cyst, and it's like burrowing down into her skin. So, until she gets, like, I assume like a boil with a core in it. Until that's gone, this whatever it is going to keep coming back. She claims it's busted again, and she went and bought some gauze, yada, yada, yada. I highly doubt she's going to go have it looked at today, because she's just, then what's she going to complain about? She uses this as content. I mean, it's to the point where we're using a boil for content. I don't know. And she claims, if she does go to the urgent care today, then she'd probably see a primary doctor next week. And, she'll let everybody know what happens. She claims she didn't eat out at all yesterday. And she also claims that she was not hungry. I'm sensing another lie here. But she says she believes it's because she took her proper dose of metformin. Now, she says the metformin, she takes it for her diabetes. She was prescribed 2,000 milligrams a day, but, being she knows more than doctors, she only takes 1,000 milligrams a day. She said the 2,000 milligrams hurts her stomach. So, but for whatever reason, she decided to take the whole 2,000 milligrams yesterday, but she split it up into 1,000 and 1,000. Now, I would think with something as serious as diabetes, you would take the medicine as prescribed, and if you were having side effects like it was hurting your stomach, you'd go back to the doctor and tell them, hey, look, I'm having this. Can we change this dose? Can we try a different medicine? But now Chantal, she just adjusts the dosage herself. And then somebody in the chat tells her that there's a group of girls in Ottawa, Canada there, that are watching and waiting for her, and they want to jump her. Well, Chantal gets all goofy about this. She says, oh, well, go ahead. You'll go to jail. Does anybody have proof of this? I'll go to the cops now about this. And she claims that she can, quote unquote, throw hands. Foodie Beauty cannot even walk 10 steps to her bathroom without becoming winded. And you're trying to tell me she thinks she can, quote unquote, throw hands? And then she also claims, she can fight. She's a good fighter, and she likes to pull hair when she's fighting. So basically, when you hear females talking about fighting and they're talking about hair pulling, they can't fight, because that's their last resort. hair pulling. They can't, as she says, throw hands. They depend on pulling somebody's hair. But she says, go ahead, because if they hit me first, I'm going to defend myself, and I'm going to ruin their life with criminal charges. Try to get a job. I've done this before, and I'll do it again. So her answer is, she just wants to try to ruin somebody's life. And then she goes on to say, if they can't get into the building because she has security, and if they breach her apartment, they will have trouble. Yes, I'm sure people are very frightened of Foodie Beauty. Like I said, who can't walk 10 steps without being out of breath? I'm quite certain people are just terrified. And then she makes a joke and says she would run them over with her scooter. And in reality, that's probably about all she really could do to defend herself, is try to hit someone with the scooter. Then she has been so crabby these past couple days, about this past week. She says, her who never watches reactors, says that she's seen someone accusing her on a reaction channel of skimping on her cat care. That they said she buys the good food and then buys a cheaper food and mixes them together. She does. She said this. And I'm not going to even comment. I mean, the cat is fat, as far as we know. And she goes on to say that BG's food costs $50, and she does buy some cheaper food along with that because she says that's like a treat for BG, and she buys a whole bucket of churros, some kind of new treat that all the rage with cat owners, I guess. And a whole bucket of churros is $50, so she is not skimping on her cat care. And she's just extremely irritated by this, you can tell. Then somebody brings up somebody named Pix, P-I-X, in the chat. And supposedly this person was somewhere online and said, now, supposedly this person is not very reliable. They have been known to not tell the whole truth. Supposedly this person says that when Salah and Chantal lived in Kuwait, they had went to an office building in Kuwait, and Salah had applied for a visa to go to Canada. Now, this may be true, it may not be true, we don't know. But anyways, he applied for this visa to go to Canada. But apparently, he was denied this visa because his English was not good enough, and supposedly he had proposed to another woman before. But what that would have to do with the visa, I really don't know. And also, there is a record of he had threatened someone, and he had threatened them bad, very graphically threatened them, and that was on record. And this also prevented him from getting a visa. And they also say that he did not attend university like he says he did. Basically, they say he doesn't have the credentials that he says he does from university. And all of this combined, he got denied a visa, supposedly. Chantal says they never applied for a visa, that this is all a lie. She would remember if they applied for a visa. I don't know, take that with a grain of salt, because like I said, they said that this Pix is known in the community for not telling the truth all the time. And then the last thing that I want to touch on is she goes back to talk about when they're in Syria. And when they have company come over, he has such an extended family, and the wife is expected to, make snacks and coffee and put that together. So she would, every time someone would come over, she had to put her hijab on and this and that. So I would have to look at her and approve to make sure nothing was showing or whatnot. But she would go into the kitchen and make the coffee and the snacks. And she says that Salah many times would tell her, don't even worry about serving. Just keep the kitchen door closed and I'll come to the kitchen and I'll take the stuff out there. And she claims, she asked him, oh, are you ashamed of your wife? And he says, no, I just don't want anybody to see my wife. I want to hide my wife. Basically, yeah, he was ashamed of you. Because you're a Western woman. You will never, and you had no desire to adapt to that culture. So I found it quite humorous that she doesn't even realize that he was hiding her. So that's all in the world of Foodie Beauty. Let's see. Tomorrow, I'll let you know what else is new.